Ryan, you're first on my agenda.
All right. I just brought my proposed budget for 2013.
Okay.
I raised it 1%, and most of that is reflected in salaries. Well, it's all reflected in salaries.
And you don't anticipate increase in chemicals?
Actually, I haven't, well, like my main chemical, Tordon 22K, went up, not this year, last year, from $42 to $60, and now it's back down this year at $50.
Cool.
So, I don't know what to expect for next year, but I'm keeping the same. And that's my biggest, I mean, as far as that's my basic chemical expense is the Tordon 22K. Fuel, keeping the same, because who knows?
So your proposed budget, that reflects a 3% increase? Is that what that means?
Yes, yes. And that's, yeah, with that, we have no clue what will happen, so, but I did put that in, so.
How's your budget this year? Are you on track pretty well?
Yep.
Behind or over?
Nope, should be just fine. I don't foresee any major anything, so.
Okay,
You guys
goes in
have any
the
questions?
I
All right.
don't have any questions.
All right, that's easy. Thank you.
What have you got, Lisa?
Okay, we're going to discuss postage machine, copy machine, and postal presort. What do you want to do first?
It's up to you.
Okay. Let's do postage machine. Okay, we got a choice of 2 postage machines, Pitney Bowes or a Hassler. This is the Pitney Bowes. I had this all organized. Let me get my thoughts together here.
You got 3/4 thickness, a little more thickness than the current machine. What's it referring to?
Yeah, to our current machine, the thickness of what goes through the carrier.
The envelopes.
Yeah,
Well, how much you put through?
right. I'm at a loss here. Do you see anything that says for the Hassler?
You just gave us Pitney Bowes.
Okay. I didn't make copies of this for the Hassler or the Neopost. Let me go around and make a copy of this for you guys real quick, or you just want to look at this?
You can just look at it.
Okay. This is
Yeah,
the,
just pass that
to me, it's really a toss-up between Pitney Bowes and the Hassler product. The Pitney Bowes lease is up at the end of June, so and we're supposed to give 30 days notice. I called him, said today's June 1st. you know, is that okay? They said, yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it, in case we don't go back with Pitney Bowes. But I think they're both comparable, the Hassler and the Pitney Bowes machine. It's just, the lease is a little bit cheaper on the Hassler, but like I pointed out to you guys earlier, their products are a little bit more expensive than Pitney Bowes. So I think it's everything's gonna wash, it's just gonna be what you guys decide that you
And you've
want
had
to do.
Pitney Bowes for good success with it, haven't you, all year, mainly, so
Yeah,
pretty well.
yeah. And some people have complained to Pitney Bowes, their service, but I feel we've always gotten good service with Pitney Bowes. And I got good references with Hassler, that they have good service too. So I just think that if you guys want to try something new, we can. That-
Why on earth would we do that?
Or if you want to stay steady Eddie,
Try something new.
it really doesn't matter. The Pitney Bowes proposal is going to be about $20 more a month than what we pay now.
Is it the 405?
Yeah, and I think right now we're at like 385. And then the Hassler is, and this is for a 60-month deal. The Hassler is $378. So that's about $30 cheaper, but like I said, their ink and their sealant is a lot more expensive. Here's the side-by-side comparison.
Do you have a preference?
Nope, I don't. It's really your guys' call. It comes out of county general. I've always just taken care of getting all the quotes for you guys and everything.
Well, the ink is considerably more expensive.
And, you know,
$189 compared to $78.
They all make up difference with it.
Kind
no.
of deceptive, I don't like it when they do
Yeah.
things like that. It's just-
Yeah, they
Well,
make it look
and
good
then-
somewhere else.
And then this
You
one
can always push the
is,
pencil.
this one is 63 months as opposed to 60 months on the Pitney.
Right,
This one, this Hassler is 63.
yeah.
Making it cheaper per month, it seems like. But it's not really, it's kind of like card payments.
Yeah.
They ain't more twice, isn't it? Yeah, gosh, this is pretty. Can say, I'm surprised that you kept those on
The total,
there. Yeah, the ink was, what, how much?
the ink was 189 versus 78, but is that, gives you the same number of,
Yeah, does it get the same amount?
Of envelopes, that I don't know. That's what I wonder too. How long will that ink cartridge work? It's a little bit different setup than the Pitney Bowes. So,
I see.
and one more good advantage of the Pitney Bowes is if you want to, departments, we could really utilize just plain envelopes, and you can get your own image and you can program it into the postage machine. So like the clerk's office would have this stamp and the sheriff's office.
Get out and vote stampers.
Yeah. And we could do more images and more advertising
do
on
that
that.
with
on
the
our envelopes.
proof of ID that you have to bring now. A lot of them are putting that on their envelopes.
Mhm. So this would have that advantage where you could do some,
The Pitney does?
So, what's the sealant?
that's what seals
Seals
the
the envelope,
envelope.
I mean, that's, they're twice as much too.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like I said, it really doesn't matter to me, but
But
as far as envelopes per minute going through, they're both comparable. The thickness of what can go through was all comparable. So they're basic, they're both good machines. I don't think we would be
where they
dissatisfied
show
with either
what's on
one.
the, they put on the envelope.
Well,
I would have Pitney Bowes, go ahead and keep it.
Wanna make a motion?
are we gonna do each one of these things separately, or have a motion for each, or do we?
Well, we need a new postage machine regardless of what She does, with
Yeah,
resort, right?
Yeah, we really
Yeah.
do. 'Cause
The
this
lease
for
is up on our current machine.
This is for the whole courthouse.
And wasn't there a difference in size of machines that we would get or something like that?
Yeah, and Nita and I kind of talked about that. We thought we really didn't think we should go down a step. But there is the second size down pricing on there. And I tried to get a hold of Carl to ask his opinion, but I could never get a hold of him.
So we kind of need a motion.
I make a motion, first take a motion.
The larger machine?
Yes.
The
Current one.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept a bid on the Pitney Bowes Connect 2000. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I think that's at least sufficient.
Okay. You want me to let Steve in, or you want me to keep going? Steve, are you short, or?
No, I don't have anything other than 8:45 for budget.
Okay, well, why don't I let you step in? I hate to make you wait.
Huh?
Okay.
Sweatshirt this morning?
It's cold.
It's 50 degrees.
Sorry, I just had to do that.
That's okay.
I'm learning from my
I'm
child.
having to wear a
No.
jacket.
From your child.
Yeah, it gets cold.
That looks good so far, the bottom of it.
Yeah, we just kept it the same. The purple were ones that I reduced, and the two green ones there is ones that I increased. And this is the fire department, of course. We just have the rest of the windows out there to replace. And what I did is I kicked it up a little bit on this one and a little bit on EMS, and we'll take a little bit out of each and go ahead and get the rest of those windows replaced out there. But the office supplies, we haven't done a real good job of balancing those out with the three disciplines running out of the same common type items. It's kind of a challenge to do that, but we'll do a better job of balancing those out because the EMS hits the office supplies a little harder, but fire takes more than what we've taken out of there so far, so we'll do a better job of balancing that out. The chemicals, I'm not as big of a proponent of using foam as what we have in the past, and so our expense there has gone down. It certainly works better on wild end, but it's an awful expensive way to put out fire. Especially when you can just put more water. If you're talking in a house fire, you know, where you're gonna have some significant damages if you let it smolder and continue on, then it's kind of a different story. But wow, I think you're hard pressed in justifying spending thousands of dollars on putting out when you can just throw some more water on it. Occasionally we'll have some big trees and stuff where that's our only option to keep it down.
And oil field fires, that's what
Sure.
really helps.
Sure.
Right?
An airplane.
Yeah, we just haven't had too many of those wall fills, so.
That's really what they brought it in for, was putting the oil field fires.
Right. And I think they started using some of it, because it was kind of a multi-purpose foam, they started using, probably we did more on wildland fires than what they should have.
Well, it works good.
It works good, yes, it's easier. But you gotta put it,
money today?
Get home a lot faster with foam than you do with water, so.
the vehicle replacement, all, down there, really all I'm looking for is just generic. I mean, some of these trucks, especially, you know, we've looked at the big pumper that we have, it really doesn't, it's really more of a city pumper truck. Because it doesn't carry that much water. And it has a,
I think they're coming.
you know, it has a pump size of bigger than probably what we'd need. That's not the problem. The problem is it doesn't carry much water. And
So there's
so,
nothing specific?
no.
Okay.
no. But you're talking for one of those, you know, just a pretty generic one, in the range of $180,000 to really get going then. And then that's basically our sole structural pumper. But yeah. So when
Are
it
you
rolls.
thinking about replacing that this year? Is that what you're?
No, it's gonna
Closing.
take longer than that to replace, but we're certainly looking at what our options are in that regard. Whether we would, the truck is okay, now, but it just needs a water source to go along with it, which that strategy can work. One of the downsides is you're storing more equipment, more vehicles. The better way is to reduce your number of vehicles and just have them specifically designed correctly. But that's down the road. But we just, being cognizant of the fact that vehicles cost a lot, it makes more sense to build those funds up and so they're available when the time comes.
And your building and repairs is for window replacement. Surely you don't need more paint.
No.
Okay.
No, we're presently finishing up the tile floors out there, so we'll be, once we get the windows done, we're pretty much set to go out there. So that's about the story on that one.
People have nothing for salaries or anything like that, as far as increases.
No, not in that one, no. We're looking okay in that one.
I see.
Well, that's the same too.
But JD goes right to that bottom line in a hurry, doesn't he? I mean,
Absolutely.
Been here long enough,
You don't.
zero right in.
He's like, zoom.
On the reduction.
All his numbers, and he's like, oh, okay.
On the reduction side, two of the small equipment, we just haven't spent that. And there's no reason to continue to run that high, so we just reduced that significantly. We have that same line in the fire department, and so there's no reason for it to remain that high. Meeting and travel hasn't been near as high as what was shown there, so we just went in and reduced that one. I think we had storage that we'd gotten rid of in leases, and so that's why we reduced that. And then other equipment down there in the bottom, I'll kind of show you that we just pushed that up to the medical equipment. The tires, instead of just putting $1,000 and having it sit there, if you're going to replace tires on a vehicle unless you have a blowout, the ambulance has 6 tires, and in order to do that, you're going to need $1,200 to do it. So that's why the increase in that one. And then the window replacement, again, was reflective of getting the windows around that building replaced. And that should do it. We're going to try to possibly replace a couple this year, and then we'd get the rest of them next year. The medical equipment are these capital outlays, are those funds that carry over, kind of like the fire or not? They're not. I'm not sure what the solution to that is. We really need one. We need some capital funds. If you want me to budget proactively and not be it in one calendar year and say, here, I've got all these monitors to replace. At some point, we've got to put a capital carryover fund, because that's kind of what I was actually doing there. Is
Well, you have your EMS reserve fund.
And
You know, you can sweep whatever you need to into it.
that's what we'll do. Then that'll work out fine. That's what we'll do. And that's what I did actually on this heart monitors. I kicked it up. You can't buy a heart monitor probably for less than around 10 grand, maybe even a little bit more. And so we'll just keep putting some in. They're not in need to be replaced now, but they will. And when that time comes, if we have just some in that reserve fund, that we can go ahead and get that taken care of, is where I was thinking on that. And so we'll continue to do that, and we'll just shift it over to the reserve, understanding that 3,500 we won't spend that probably for a few years. It's just moving funds over into that reserve fund so we can, when the time does come, the funds will be available. And that's all there is to that one. And this is emergency management. And this one, we just kept the same too. Trying to think of it. Okay, yeah, the computer. The $500 for fuel just kind of more reflects, and I think if I work with Phil, we can recognize periodically when especially when I'm going to go to like swine or something, I can somehow identify that that's where I'm going. I'm going to an emergency management function. The emergency, that EMPG is that emergency management performance grant. We got in the range of like 5,500. I applied for that again. I'm not sure why ours is so low. I know they take into account the population. They really haven't given me good answers, and I went ahead and made a formal request of what all the counties in Kansas, because they wouldn't give it to me without making a formal request. So I did that with the director of emergency management for Kansas, and we'll find out what everybody's getting. But I thought maybe we just weren't showing enough expenditures too. So we'll. And it's not fabricated really. I mean, we spend funds on dollars for fuel when I go to these functions that they want you to go to. So we'll go ahead and start reflecting that. And then the meetings, I think, the 500 was a little low in that regard also, so kick that up a little bit. Dues and subscriptions, those have for last year did not range that high, and so we went ahead and reduced that just a wee bit. And then computer equipment really didn't need $2,500 in that line item, and so we reduced that to keep that overall budget the same. And salaries, what we do in emergency management, we just take a portion of Nick and I's salaries. Again, trying to be honest with what time we're spending. It's a ballpark estimate, because like I told the state, I mean, we're not going to clock in, clock out every time we do something for one discipline and then the other discipline. And I wish that they would just give you a set amount for, because we'd be on the minimum receiving end, and instead of wanting you to identify every single time you. When you have somebody that's their only job, it's pretty simple, and that's their only budget. It's pretty simple. But when you're doing, when you're mixing and matching, it becomes a wee bit more difficult.
Okay, all right.
That is all.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, does the courthouse have an emergency plan?
We have,
It may not even be your department, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Well, I mean, I certainly could help in putting that together if we do we? I don't know.
The question was asked me, where do I go in case there's a tornado or some other emergency?
Oh, in the building?
Yeah, do you have a plan where if you have a fire or if you have a tornado? or-
basement, I guess.
Fire out.
Yeah, we know fire.
Tornado
That's
down.
all.
Yeah, the down out.
No, we don't have.
Well, we can put one together. I mean, really simple. I mean, I'm really of the belief that don't make something real wordy and any more than
I
what
mean,
we
like
need.
you said, fire out, tornado down. Do people know how to go, get there, and,
Are the exits all marked in the courthouse? That's probably the main thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I just wondered.
And
if
some
it
of that's
was
probably even, even having a written plan is probably not a bad idea, even from a risk management standpoint. That you know, at least if you had something catastrophic happen that, you know, common sense would have averted maybe somebody getting hurt, but, you know, they get, where'd the lawyer go? You get a lawyer involved, and sometimes, you know, sometimes they'll look at that and they'll take that, well, they didn't have enough.
I think the good to have a written plan, they'll do that.
Yeah, it can be very simple, but at least you can say, well, of course we have a written plan, it's right here. It's simple, but it's,
Let's do that.
we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the schools, everybody else, I mean, that way you don't, your liability is a lot less if you've got a plan that you've got, you have
Right.
a,
And you just give it to them, I mean, you give them,
once a year, have a.
Give 'em a buck when they come in.
Run, have a tornado run, have a fire run.
Well, do we have, I mean, for the public, you know, if I was in here in a tornado, I wouldn't know where to go. I kind of do now, but I wouldn't have had a clue of where to go. Other than follow YouTube, you know,
I'm
figuring.
going home. She's probably going.
I'll follow Lisa. as
She's
well.
probably going to my house.
Yeah.
Are we gonna all get on the 4th floor and look for it? Is that?
Or go outside.
Yeah, that's usually what people do.
no, we'll put something together. On another matter, let's see her yet, she was gonna make the tape, or she didn't get it made yet, Regine. But we gotta, and I wanted you to listen to it, because I can't do justice to the actual tape. But it was called, and I think that you three need to listen to what the dispatchers put up with sometimes from people calling in to want to burn. This gentleman was absolutely rude. And you know, just like he called up and he was already mad. And I'm burning. I'm not even calling you to ask permission. I'm just burning. I'm just telling you, I'm burning. And then he makes reference to being on the fire department, which he is not on the fire department. And Regine tried to explain to him, but he just got angrier and pretty much hollered at her. And so I called him back and corrected him. But that's kind of what the dispatchers put up with on a pretty regular basis. And it's not art. You know, I mean, we're trying to protect the adjoining property owners with, you know, with the guidelines, so you don't end up burning up your neighbor's property while you're
And it's the
trying-
guidelines from the state fire marshal, correct?
Correct.
So it's
Correct.
not our rules.
No, well, we're just mirroring what the state is handing down and as recommendations, and that's, we put in our own wind meter because we had people complaining that it wasn't accurate, and at that time we were just going off of, what we were trying to do is we're trying to go off of several different ones and actually giving them the best deal out of all of them, but that was just a pain in the neck, so we put in our own, which we can even pull that up via the internet, just to see what it is, but occasionally I'm sure it isn't going to be exactly the same in St. John as what it is other places, and we make some allowances, a little leeway, you know, in miles per hour wind, but like yesterday, it was in the 20s, it's not even close to being within the range of being burned. And come to find out, the person didn't have a burn permit either. And I purposely made them, and everybody's pretty much done it. We've probably got a couple 300 burn permits now. But again, we're trying to avert the, well, I don't know, you know, and so we have it specifically stated in that burn permit exactly, you know, real simple, but a copy of the state rule, and then a copy of what our rules are and what they're acknowledging and the responsibilities that they're signing to. And so at least you can pull that out and say, I think you signed that. If you didn't understand it, then you probably should have asked questions. But if Regine gets that put together this morning in time, I'll have her come up.
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, thanks.
What time hospital supposed to be?
9.
I seen a call.
Yeah, I've got one on. Well, I'll just hold off and let me gather my stuff.
Well, let's bring them in if they're out
Are
there.
they out there?
I seen,
Okay, real quick. Joe would like, well, he can tell you this, he wants to raise his budget for 13 at the 12 level. Is that, do you want, is this okay, or do you want him to do an actual budget for him?
Maybe 2012, maybe.
Well, just do a copy of 2012.
I think we've kept it pretty much frozen for the last
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah, I
years.
think that's what we did last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the way I remember it. But
Thus, I'm not going to? Does that mean you're not going to, or is it because 2012 is the same as 2013?
Well, I'm the one department that you really can't budget for because you can't predict human behavior in the coming year. We could have a whole rash of crime, it could be nice and quiet. This year has been very quiet until recently when we had the 5 or 6 people we scooped up in Hayes Township.
His budget for 12 is 83,000.
Stealing, well, they were stealing property and cooking. I won't say they're cooking meth, but they had meth with them, for all I know. There could be a meth lab there still, because you could hide elephants instead of those
we just usually.
tree roads.
Right,
I mean, it's all
Probably right to figure out.
83,000
full of undergrowth.
last year.
A lot of poison ivy too, I noticed. I don't know, what is there about this county that has so much poison ivy?
Do it.
I don't, it is terrible.
I think we might as well.
Yes.
You know, the house that
2012,
Gillespie
9.
purchased there, corner of 4th Road and Dartmouth Road, south of where David and Renee,
You all have a
Salem.
copy of
right.
the corrected
that is
version.
what he's rebuilding. Have you seen that?
Yes, yeah.
We got this.
When I was for
I had Joe
sale,
look
I
at
told
it,
him to
and
take a
I had
look at it,
Amber,
I
the
was afraid to get
auditors,
on
look
my
at it.
car
They said it's
because
all
of all the
good.
poison ivy.
Yeah.
And they understand it everywhere.
Apparently Gillespie has all this,
That part's right.
you know,
Well,
front
We
loaders and
had our auditors look at it,
little
and everything.
bulldozer. He's really.
And Joe-
Yeah, he approved it, just let take care of our liability.
Come on in, guys.
so,
It was tough.
we have to sign
to, you
copy
know,
of this, but I got all that here, so.
contemplate how much work you have to do to clear all that poison. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
go over
Hi.
it.
Have a seat.
How are you?
Morning.
Hi.
It's really
Morning.
Well,
right here.
no, I'd rather put that on beach chili than.
We never tried it, but I've heard that. I think.
Because, you know, I went up to look.
I have my house at
Meth lab
50, it's
was,
like, so.
kind of creepy, because it's a 12 of north-south road, and the road's really sunken, that's one of the sand roads, that are kind of since then, the 4 inch or half an inch, so
Most of the
you
time
drive over
anyway,
the
so.
center,
Yeah, you're at, yeah.
like this, and get out of the car and look, and
We are in session, right?
Yes, sir. Jumped out the car,
We can get those two to quiet down so we can talk.
apparently all this property, what's
I need a
the
gavel.
They let this creek rat for looking.
Well, what I'm giving you is the income statement on top. So you can see for the month of April, we had an operating income on line 43 in the first column of $17,588. All the way down to the bottom,
Got it.
line 43. Year to date, we've had an operating loss of $70,000 and a net income of minus $53,292. So last year at this time, they only had a net loss of $59,000, so we're slightly better than we were last time. The really big difference is that we're about $500,000 down, both on revenue and expenses from this time last year. So that's essentially what we cut out of the budget in comparison to last year. The expense side is great, the revenue side's not so hot. So, as you can see, we're under what we budgeted for the one that I gave you guys by $33,000 on expenses, and we're actually over by about $12,000 on revenue. So we're doing better than we budgeted to do on the income statement part.
So this month you made a profit?
Mhm.
What?
The bottom line is $23,063.
I was gonna ask you. We're above what you're projecting in your budget, so we're basically on course to what you guys were telling us last year, if not a little better.
Right.
What are you seeing in the future, in the near future? Is this gonna continue? Is this a bubble?
This should continue, as far as we're concerned.
This is pretty solid.
Mhm. We filed the cost report yesterday for the 2011 fiscal year, and there has a receivable to us of about $175,000.
It's considerably more than you were anticipating.
That is because volumes went down dramatically from the time that we filed the interim cost report to the end of the fiscal year. So steady cost and a decrease in volumes for Medicare is more cost per bill. So that's why it's doing
It's
it.
like you were projecting a 50.
Right.
Something like that.
It'll be between $175,000 and $180,000.
That's good.
The next page is the balance sheet. And then the minutes, and then the statistics, and you can see acute admissions were up in April to 3.
Are you on the next sheet?
I'm on the last page, sorry. Not near as good as February when we had a bunch of people, but March was better than April. So that's why we made money in April and we didn't in March.
So all of your services are up, with the exception of the skilled swing.
Right.
So is that telling us that there are more people using the facility than what they had previously, like?
In January.
Oh, up is better.
Yep. You may have seen in the paper, Wednesday? Paper came out Wednesday. We are looking for a director of financial services, which is basically going to be an on-site finance person who can run the billing operations and the accounting operations in the business office. And that's the last position, I mean, that's a position that we need inside the hospital, somebody who can understand what's going on in the hospital on a daily basis.
Who's doing that job now? You are. Well, what's wrong with that?
Get a little miles on her car.
You don't understand what's going
Well,
on?
no, I understand. We need somebody on site
I see.
to be doing some stuff.
Well, you mean Pratt thinks they need you too?
Yeah, kinda. You guys are just as nice as down there.
Well, there you go.
I beg your pardon, we're nice.
No, don't tell my commissioners that, then they'll get upset at me.
They won't even come up and visit our beautiful
Yeah,
little
they won't
country.
even come and talk to us, so I don't
That's not
know.
very nice.
No.
Oh gosh, Lord. We've had the audit, and they're working on the audit report, and either in June or July, and we're still waiting to see how long the review process is gonna take. You three will be invited, anybody else who wants to come, to the Stafford board meeting to hear the audit presentation, so you can ask the questions of the auditor directly, any questions that you might have. And it'll either be at the June or July meeting, I'll let you know which one that will be. And the only other thing we'd like you to do is sign that resolution so we can pay our bills.
That's all?
That's
All you
it.
want?
Good one.
Is that why you're here?
Well, primarily the financials, but really close is that document.
I'll make the motion that we adopt resolution 2012-09, which is a resolution authorizing the issue of deliverance of $555,000 of no felony tax warrants.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept resolution number 2012-9. And no fund warrants totaling $555,000. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. These you want signed, I assume.
Three. What's the process for them?
Well, our bankers were gonna come give us some money.
Okay, then we'll pay the bills.
So that flows through us.
Yeah.
Being a black's encouraging, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
After all this time. That looks good.
Yeah, I think you guys deserve some credit.
I think we're more encouraged to sign this when we see that.
Realize there's a lot of people working in that direction, not just us. Kind of a paper nightmare, isn't it?
Did you copy this thing out? Did you print this out?
I think, well, no, I looked.
JD, you sound like a doctor.
Well, that's my second probation. I would like that.
Who likes the doctor? He stayed at the holiday. He stayed at the holiday Inn last night. There's a commercial. You ever watch commercials?
No. What's that got to do with JD being a doctor?
He stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. He's a smart guy.
You can do whatever you
He
want
can
to
do
stay
whatever
on
he
holiday.
Well, I didn't, obviously.
You guys have any other questions for us that we can answer?
Well, I did yesterday, but I can't remember today. It just seemed like there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. I can't think of it right now.
Cardiologist is coming now, one day of the month.
What does he, really? You have a cardiologist coming?
It's an outreach clinic.
Septic out of Wichita.
Oh, all right, I had a question asked of me the other day. I know we have a CT
Cardiologist.
machine,
Who's that?
and it's a permanent MRI machine. I get these two mixed up really easy. All right, which is which?
Stexley's office.
What does an MRI do, what is a CT?
A CT machine will take a picture of the tissue. You can see an actual picture of, it's sliced, however they take the
Is that the
picture.
one where it's, you go in the tunnel?
They both kind of do that. An MRI,
Don't know where I'm confused.
yeah, the MRI kind of takes a picture of the actual functionality of how things are moving.
You're not helping me at all.
The tendons and the ligaments, like of a knee, they'll come near doing an MRI because of the tendon and the ligaments that will be shown on an MRI, but, and the CT is more of like inside, like the abdomen, that you can depict the stomach, you can depict
What's
the.
House always doing? Is that a CT machine?
Jesus,
House.
how much so real.
I watch House.
I don't watch that show.
An MRI, you do an intravenous injection, right?
For
CT you do too.
You do.
just makes the.
So, but they're
vessels.
two separate machines.
Right.
And we have access to an MRI machine?
Once a week, we have a mobile unit that
I
comes
see.
on Saturdays and does MRIs.
So you gotta have a bad ankle on Saturdays or you're...
Well, an MRI is usually not as much of an emergency test as a CT could be. So an MRI, if you mess up your knee, they're gonna tell you to stay off of it for a week or, 4 or 5 days anyway, and then come and do this MRI. Where CT is more diagnostic at the moment, like for fractures of the cervical or something like that, or gallbladder attack, or stroke, kidney stones.
Head injuries?
Pardon me?
Head injuries?
Head injuries would show more of a
And
bleeding.
we have that permanent, right?
Right.
That's fine. That helps me build. So you do, athletes get MRIs on
More, yes, because it's more of the ligaments and the tendons and shows where the tears are in the shoulder.
What's so funny? You're in an awfully good mood this morning.
So I see the lab,
She's giddy, I know.
with
Got
no
her hair all done up
deficiencies.
and everything.
No deficiencies lab. In fact, the surveyor was very complimentary of how they gave her the information on the document, which was,
Oh, that's close.
well, I guess it was really odd because surveyors are never that nice. It was really odd. I mean, they're usually professional, but she was kept really well.
Makes you nervous, huh?
It did. It did. It made me feel very uneasy, but it was good news. 'Cause they usually don't do that.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Get the public more aware.
Hmm?
Think of your
I
questions.
think that's always going to be.
That was one of the things that people were asking me.
It's always going to have to look for new ways to.
I remember putting the CT machine, that used to come weekly too.
You got a big thick pad of checks,
That's what I just put off.
They're rare to go.
ready to
The
go?
printer's idling as we speak, so.
You make some happy members. Well, sorry it took so long. It wasn't because we were dragging our feet.
That's okay.
But tell the vendors thanks for waiting and
We appreciate the support.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Guys, have a nice day.
Dude, the sunshine. Yeah, she is.
If you'll call me, I'll come get a check.
It's amazing what $555,000 will do to us.
I thought they were bringing the box with them, but
Oh my.
I
Yes.
faxed him the signed copy, so.
You want a copy of this?
I've got, she gave me hers. Okay,
Where we at?
this is that, let me get regrouped here.
Well, is
Because I
Lisa
got it.
gonna finish her deal? or-
I don't, well, probably, I've got her right away, since Chris Phillip gave me.
A little recess.
Let's recess from and get this sorted.
Postal pre-sort. Whoops, sorry. Okay, on the top page, on the left, I did a cost analysis. It's how you can figure out what it's costing you to do your tax statements when you do it in-house. And then on the right, where it says estimate, so it looks like we can save approximately $2,000 by using postal pre-sort.
Okay, I asked you, did you get some references from
Yes.
other cities around that
Here's one
our
reference.
size,
Mhm.
this is the closest one, Cobb County?
Yeah, that was one in comparable size, and then then I just gave you a list of all the other counties that use them. The ones that are kind of shaded are some that, it's not really counties comparable in size, but counties comparable in tax statements. for example, Pratt County, I send out almost just as many tax statements as they do, but even though they're a higher populated area. So it's not so much county our size as comparative tax statements. And it's why that is because we have so much oil and gas. So I'd really like to try it 1 year and see how it goes. Everybody I've talked to, they really said that they did a good job.
Now you said first mailings, is there a second mailing?
No,
Or
there's
second
not.
sheet, what's this?
Oh, that's, okay, 6,144 mail pieces that we'll have. If there's one sheet,
Oh.
yeah, like you, if you have 1, 2, or 3 tax statements.
Mhm.
So they went through and said, okay, this many people have 1 sheet, this many people will have 2 sheets in their envelope. And they tried to do an estimate. I downloaded our files to them, and the programming came up with an estimate on this. And I think the one good advantage is they run this through the national change of address before they even mail them. So they update many addresses. They update them before they even go out. The way we do it, we get the return mail, and then we have to update the address, and then we mail the tax statement back out. So that will save a lot of return mail issues and updating addresses. And then they provide us a list of those addresses that are changed, so we can update our records then. So you're doing a lot of the address changes before you even mail them out.
So our postage is cheaper than their postage. Because you have $29.80 for postage, and their postage is $33.25.08. Why would their postage be more?
I don't know. Well, I can too explain that a little bit. It goes by taxpayer ID and the way they do this. Okay, if I'm in the system 3 times, Lisa and Ivan Milton, and then I have another taxpayer ID, Lisa Milton, and then I have another taxpayer ID, Lisa and Nita Keenan. There's 3 taxpayer IDs. When Postal Presort does it, that will go in 3 different envelopes.
Yeah. Where you just shove them all into one.
When I do it here, I shove it all in one envelope because I know how to group it together. So that does kind of explain some of that. Now, if we go with Postal Presort, it is my plan, because there are several taxpayer IDs out there that are duplicated. It is my plan to try to get with the clerk's office and the appraiser's office to get these consolidated into one taxpayer ID, because as you can see, that will clean it up and save us money on sending out tax statements. Plus, there's some things we just need to clean up anyway on our taxpayer IDs.
I'm confused, Lisa, you know, you've got your two prices and you have labor costs built in. Will the county save this labor cost if we go to this pre-sort?
No, but it's what it helps is, it helps us to keep up with our daily duties so that we don't get behind.
So you won't be, you will need the same number of people, you're
Right.
saying?
Mhm. It's just
Well, the
will.
labor thing's already built in. I mean, it's already,
Right.
whether you do it or not, so
Yeah, that's
that's a
true.
figure that we
Yeah.
can't really consider. We're already paying the labor.
Yeah. We might save some overtime. I guess that would be, you know, and that's always a case year by year, whether I have overtime or not during that time. The hard part is we get behind on our daily work. So we do get behind, and it just allows us to keep up our daily functions.
You know, if you take the labor cost out, then you basically, you know, it's basically a break even. Because the county isn't gonna save that money.
Right. Well,
There's
if there's
a few $100
overtime,
difference.
if there's overtime, we would save that.
Yeah, but add the labor costs back on theirs, if you just make,
Yeah.
put your take it out, it'd be
Yes,
within $1 or $2 of each one, same way.
yeah. It's,
So the
It's
decision is
potato.
this is a better system for the county and I mean, obviously
and
it's
you know,
gonna
and
help
I
the
come
office,
to
I
you, this is
understand
really
that.
a decision that I can make, but I'm wanting to just show you what I'm contemplating.
I see.
And I'd really like to just try it 1 year. If it doesn't work, then we can not do it next year. It's not gonna cost us anymore, I know that.
Okay. Now what about the printer?
The printer, depending which way I go, I'm missing, no. And these, he got me proposals last week, either $10,599.95 for the same size machine I have now, or $8,368 for the 35 per page. So that's a savings of a couple thousand.
So you're proposing to get the smaller printer then?
Yeah, that's what I propose.
Yeah, everyone uses this printer.
In my office, yeah.
This is just your office, you use.
For 2011, we printed 75,185 copies off of this copy machine. 2010, it was 89,000. And then my two other little printers up front, one did 80,000 copies last year and one did 92,000. So we really produce a lot of paper out of our office. My copy machine currently has 450,000 copies on it.
Really?
You're not very green, are you?
No, and I would like to get green because some of this paper I think just needs to stop. using.
Be nice. So what do you prefer?
I propose, I would like to try postal pre-sort for a year. I've just heard so many good things about it, and get the smaller copier machine. That's what I would like to do. And I'd really like to go ahead and get the copy machine now. Our lease is up in December, and that's a bad time for me to be in December.
Is there a penalty on it if you do or anything?
Well, it's like the postage machine. If you stay with them, no. But if I change vendors, then I'm gonna have to ride it out clear till December. But we, well, you know, that 1 week I was down with the printer and it's time it be replaced. So I'd like to just go ahead and stay with OPI and just go ahead and transition and get the smaller copier. That's what I would like to do.
I've seen it, one change, so the papers one that they're forgiving you with this time to go ahead and register by 30 days to send, but they're not forgiving the penalty.
Yeah, and
The penalty's still on there, and the people complain, say, well, it's just, you know, and it said the penalty's not that much, but
yeah, it's an extension on law enforcement.
yeah.
Getting the
And all I'll do is, if
ticket,
you get a ticket, they'll they'll forgive the ticket if you get a ticket for not having your tag redone, but you still
Right.
don't pay the penalty.
And it's really, but they didn't get that out in the public, right? It's really intended for these bigger counties. If there is not a line and you are able to get into your treasurer's office,
Right.
you are to go.
Okay,
Because if you don't, then we're gonna have a big bottleneck
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of
so
June.
people will say, what the heck am I?
Yeah, oh, well, I can wait another month.
So
Yes,
the only difference
it's
between
just-
these two printers is one is 45 per,
45 copies a
and the other
minute.
is 30.
Mhm. 30, they did a 30 and a 35, but I would want the 35 for $8,300 instead of the 30 for $7,800.
And how long is this term, the lease or whatever?
It's a year to year.
Oh, it's 1 year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you renew it every year. And I bought this machine, I think it was in '07. This lasted 5 years.
Is this a lease or a purchase?
Well, you purchase it, but the maintenance on it, it's a maintenance agreement.
And
Yeah.
that's included in this price?
No, you pay by copies per month. So you remember that OPI voucher every month with
Yeah.
black and white copies? You pay so much. And that's actually cheaper than buying the toner yourself. The way they figure it.
We actually own the machine and then we have a maintenance agreement.
Okay, so you're gonna get the copying machine is the 5030,
The 5035.
5035. Oh, this is a 5030.
Okay.
Is it 50,
I'm sorry.
Here's
Look
the
look
loan.
down
This-
here.
Right at the bottom. it
At
says
the
that.
bottom right. And then they gave another price quote for the 5035.
It's $500 more than the 50.
Yeah, right here's 35, that's bottom, and the yellow, right?
Right.
Okay. And you're going with the Pitney Bowles postage machine?
Yes.
You already approved that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just deciding on postal pre-sort and a copy.
All right.
Right.
Do
Well, actually,
postal,
we're not deciding on either one of them, are
Well, I mean,
I would like your blessing, but no, you don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to. That's why I came to you guys. You know, I respect your guys' input and I want to keep the communication lines open between us, and, you know.
oh, so a 5035 copier and postal pre-sort. Okay. And you're gonna do the postal pre-sort for 1 year trial?
I would like to try it and see how we get along.
Okay, and they guarantee accuracy, right?
Yes. And if there's a problem, they will make it right.
Yes.
Isn't that what there was, like in this one, the program did a glitch on the levy. Did you read that? And so Penn Postal Presort mailed it out within 2 days. So, I mean, that wasn't anything that the treasurer could have foreseen or Postal Presort.
is there a motion or?
Okay. So we did the postage machine, okay, so we can lump this.
Yeah.
And I'll make the motion to allow Lisa to go ahead and purchase the Canon copier C5035, correct? And to do the postal pre-sort on a trial basis for 1 year.
I'll second.
Thank you, guys.
It's been moved and seconded that we purchase the, yeah, I'm gonna read it here.
C50.
C5035 copier for $8,368. And we tried the postal pre-sort for 1 year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Motion
All right,
carries.
so we get that. So you and Joe and Carl get together on another issue, right?
Yeah, I think
Joe and Carl need to get together
that, yeah, it's really comes,
to them.
yeah. And I think maybe Joe sees now what Carl was trying
I
to.
hope so. It's clear to him what's right, it's just not clear how it came about.
And I really think they're trying to ask for that,
They definitely,
yeah, they're trying.
they're not
And
over.
I think other counties did it, and that's why they're,
Well, they're not gonna get away with it
There you go. Okay, thanks,
Right.
Lisa.
thank you guys.
Anything else?
DMV program seems to be going pretty good with us, so
Good.
we're,
Hearing horror stories all over the state.
well, we have our problems,
Sure.
but I really think it's going pretty good, so. But we're a smaller county, so I wish we could help out these bigger counties really almost, but then I think,
here. Well, we could for a fee,
There you
Yes.
go.
and
send them over here.
they did kind of set up this program with vision in the future, so. For smaller counties, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we have a right of way from Bill has.
Philip sent that up, he's gone today, he has approved it, they're gonna put a power pole down in here on Old 50 in that triangle thing like that Harrison's, you know. There, I think there's a picture,
There's a map in the
Oh.
back and stuff that explains it.
but he had no problem with it, so.
I guess that's it right there.
Dan's not gonna come. Is this one?
I'll go get it, you might as well. I'm
Yeah.
waiting on Kevin to email me some new forms, so if you can hang tight,
Sure.
let's get this right away done. I'll get it there.
So this is,
It's down on Old 50 down here at the curve.
There's a map.
west of 281.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a motion to approve it, don't we?
Yeah. Sure.
Make a motion to approve the right-of-way agreement.
I second.
Is there a number on there?
No, just.
So we have been seconded, we approve the right-of-way agreement on, say aye? Aye. Motion carried.
Spell my name correctly.
What is the recess for?
Yes. we will. Anything else, guys?
I'll get it.
Go recess one. Okay, ready?
5 minutes.
So make a motion, we go
Ron wants 10, I don't care.
10, let's make it 10. For non-elected personnel?
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
We moved and seconded, we have to go into executive session for non-elected personnel for 10 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
All right. We are. We're ready, go for it.
Well, my budget is up $2,993. Most of that is from this year's COLA. 15 on education and training, and that's because we now have an additional class that's a $15 class. Our other two telenet classes are $75 in the spring and $75 in the fall, but we have a class at our regular seminar, our yearly seminars too. The dues and subscriptions, there's been talk of raising our state dues as well as our dues. I don't think our district dues, but our state dues they're talking about raising, just because of the KCOA situation and things like that. Yeah, the darn clerks. Anyway, and then that $70 in parentheses, basic, I just moved that out of passport supplies into passport photos. So nothing's really changed, it's just been moved. And really, that's,
What's the capital outlay for?
computers, replacing
So you got
computers.
somebody anticipating needs some?
They always need replaced, yeah, possibly. Also getting some more books scanned and digitized. You know, I try to do a little bit every few years. Right now, we've gotten, from 1973 forward, all the microfilm's been done. All the deed books have been done, but I need to work on the mortgage, oil and gas, and the miscellaneous and the other loyalty books and things like that, so.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. That was painless.
This is just a start, you
The
know.
preliminary is always painful.
What do you mean preliminary, aren't I done?
Doesn't mean you'll get it. 'cause it's been
That's
asked
true.
for.
That's true. Well, our copy fees, we are generating a lot more copy fees than we have in previous years, so I just want to throw that out there. One other thing we've changed is I'm no longer doing passports after 4 o'clock because it never fails. We get people in at 4:45 with 5 people that need them done and
Today.
things like that. So we just put a sign up in Spanish and English, no passports after 4. And I will make special, you know,
Emergency.
emergencies or things like that. And I've been known to come in at 6:30 and do a passport for someone also, if they've got to get to work, so.
But once they do this, it still takes.
Well, I still gotta get it in the mail, and that's another thing, we can't get it into the mail after 4:30 anyway, so it doesn't go out till the next day.
What's the turnaround time on it?
We are supposed to tell people 4 to 6 weeks, but I've been noticing, they've been calling back, and some of them are saying 3 weeks, sometimes 2. So I can't guarantee, but not bad at all really right now, so. All right, I guess that's it. We've got an office full of people right now, so you guys need to clear out so I can move them into here.
Well, we'll be gone here.
Make us feel welcome, go ahead.
We'll be
Go
gone.
ahead.
Hey, one time I invited my dad invited himself over for ham and beans last winter. And I was tired of that day. I mentioned I was having ham and beans. Oh, we're coming over for supper. And I said, well, that's fine, but you can't stay very long. So,
Did he?
no, they didn't stay very long. They came over and ate that. So it's not just you, it's,
Well, fine,
I did say
we'll get our beans and leave.
thank you.
Recess. I mean,
Adjourn.
adjourn.
Okay.
I get those 2 turned around.
Yeah, just adjourn.
Anything, guys?
Nope.
I'm ready for adjournment.
You say the next meeting will be the
June
11th?
11th.
Or adjourn.